Police officer finds starving girl in an abandoned lot. What he sees makes him break down. Rain drizzled over the rusted chain-link fence surrounding the abandoned lot on the edge of town, a place most people avoided, littered with broken bottles, discarded tires, and the ghosts of forgotten lives. Officer Ethan Cole had been patrolling the area after a call about suspicious activity. But what he found that gray October morning wasn't crime, it was a child. Curled beneath a rotting cardboard box, shivering in a threadbare dress 2 sizes too small, was a girl who couldn't have been more than 8. Her eyes, wide, hollow, and sunken, locked onto his with a mixture of fear and exhaustion. Her lips were cracked, her skin pale as paper. She barely stirred as he knelt beside her, whispering, "Hey, it's okay. You're safe now." Ethan's heart hammered in his chest. He radioed for an ambulance, his voice cracking as he described her condition. Severely malnourished, dehydrated, possibly in shock. While waiting, he gently wrapped his own jacket around her trembling frame. She didn't speak, but her tiny fingers clutched the edge of his sleeve like it was the only thing tethering her to this world. Then he saw it. Half buried in the mud beside her was a small silver locket, tarnished, dented, but unmistakably personal. He picked it up carefully, prying it open with his gloved fingers. Inside, protected by cracked glass, were 2 faded photographs, one of a smiling woman with warm brown eyes and soft curls, and another of the little girl herself, healthy and beaming, arms wrapped around a teddy bear. Ethan's breath caught. This wasn't just neglect. This was a child who'd once been loved. At the hospital, doctors worked quickly to stabilize her. IV fluids, warmth, careful monitoring. Nurses murmured in hushed tones about how close she'd come to not making it. Ethan stayed by her bedside long after his shift ended. Unable to leave, he couldn't shake the image of her clutching his sleeve or the locket, now tucked safely in his pocket. He showed the locket to the hospital staff, then to Child Protective Services. They ran the photo through missing persons databases. Within hours, they had a match. Her name was Lily Martinez. She'd been reported missing 3 months ago after her mother, Maria, was hospitalized following a violent domestic incident. With no family nearby and overwhelmed by trauma, Maria had been placed in a psychiatric facility for her own safety. In the chaos, Lily had vanished, likely taken by her abusive stepfather who'd fled before police could arrest him. But Lily had escaped. Somehow she'd wandered for weeks, surviving on scraps, hiding in alleys and abandoned buildings, clutching that locket like a lifeline to the mother she believed had abandoned her. The next morning, Ethan drove to the regional psychiatric hospital. Maria was pale and thin, her eyes haunted, but when he showed her Lily's photo, she burst into tears. "She's alive?" she whispered, clutching the locket he handed her. I thought I'd lost her forever." Ethan arranged for a supervised reunion at the children's hospital. When Lily opened her eyes and saw her mother standing in the doorway, a sound escaped her. A tiny, broken whimper. Maria rushed forward, falling to her knees beside the bed, wrapping her arms around her daughter with a sob that seemed to carry every ounce of grief, guilt, and love she'd held inside for months. Lily buried her face in her mother's shoulder, her small body shaking with silent cries. Ethan watched from the hallway, tears streaming down his own face. He'd seen too much darkness in his years on the force, too many broken families, too many children failed by the system. But this was light breaking through the cracks. In the weeks that followed, Ethan visited them often. Maria was recovering, determined to rebuild a safe life for Lily. Social services helped them secure housing, counseling, and legal protection. The stepfather was eventually apprehended in another state and charged with kidnapping and child endangerment. But the real victory wasn't in the arrest, it was in the quiet moments Ethan witnessed. Lily coloring at the kitchen table, laughing as her mother braided her hair, sleeping peacefully without nightmares. One afternoon, as Ethan prepared to leave their new apartment, Lily ran to him and pressed something into his hand. It was the locket, cleaned, polished, and whole again. "For you," she whispered, "so you remember you saved us." Ethan knelt, his voice thick. "No, Lily, you saved me." Back at the precinct, he hung the locket on a small hook above his desk, not as a trophy, but as a reminder that behind every call, every statistic, every tragedy reported in passing, there's a human story, a story that can still have hope, a story that can still end with a hug, a tear, a second chance. Because sometimes all it takes is one person stopping to look closer, to see not just a victim, but a child who still believes in love. And sometimes that's enough to heal the world one heart at a time. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Kindness changes everything. Thanks for watching.